Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gaming the Max and part 2 of our Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues Enclave Redux mod. So, in the last episode, we had purged the opposition, bringing in Mr. Granite into the presidency of the Enclave. We took over New Reno and have expanded our territory quite a bit. And then we had finished a pretty good chunk up here in the top of our focus tree. We finished all that, finished this side piece over here, and now we're doing the Enclave radio, and then we'll move over to the New Reno focuses. So let's start on up. The war in New Reno didn't last very long. We were pretty easily, we beat them out, so but yeah, so we'll see what happens here. It looks like the Navarro territories, we'll see. There's the Enclave radio. Let's do dealing with the rights. The rights dream of a peaceful, prosperous city. Maybe they can collaborate with us towards a better tomorrow. Maybe. 8 more days for New Reno, and maybe we can get some coin coming out of there. We have 50 political power we need to hide from the NCR, so we're going to do that real quick while we have it. Lagenberg went to war with the Kingdom of Manitoba. Let's see, MacArthur's at war with the Stormongers. Dealing with the Wrights, some say that the Wright family has spent the last few decades building with one hand and destroying with the other, but compared to the other families, this makes them almost redeemable. Mr. Wright's vision of a more peaceful and stable New Reno is not entirely incompatible with our own. Allow him go legit. Allow him go legit. There's no place for his kind here. So we can either get somebody that gives us better construction, our infrastructure speed for construction infrastructure speed and civilian, or 3 arms workshops. I kind of just like the straight arm workshops, so that's where I'm going to go. Political power and arm workshops. Do the family of New Reno. Production wise, yeah. There's the saws. Get some maintenance companies. Economic resurgence, perfect. We can send some spies into the NCR. It costs 100 manpower, so we're going to do that. We've got the Van Graffs leaving.
Enclave main com.
Alright, those of New Reno. The ones in charge of New Reno are one thing, the people of New Reno are another. While some are common citizens living in a tough town, the vast bulk are mercenary, crime enforcers, and petty criminals. While when they're not faced us directly, they know the streets and they can easily discover our patrol routes. There's a reason even the NCR had trouble trying to rein in New Reno. However, we're not the NCR, we're the Enclave. A few of our more bleeding hearts have suggested rebuilding infrastructure and providing goods and services in lieu of patrols. More traditional thinkers, however, know that enforcing the law in a lawless town and their dead bodies buried in Golgotha are all that is needed to remind wayward New Reno denizens that they need to remind their Uncle Sam. We're from the government and we're here to help. Okay, yes, we did cause the Great War. New Reno compliance plus 10%. Gain 5% legitimacy, or as president, I am the law. Drop your weapons, these streets are Enclave control. We get 50 political power. The resistance target negative 10% in New Reno, and we gain 150,000 bottle caps. I like the compliance because, as you can see up here, where we're no longer just the Enclave, and our legitimacy is super low, we have a negative 12% political power gain, negative 10% compliance gain, and negative 12% mobilization speed. So the more legitimacy I can get, I feel like is the better. But I hate that. We're from the government and we're here to help. And the bottle caps would be nice. Nah, we'll do that one. We'll get the more legitimacy. And then checkmate. The bishops plotted to bring New Reno in the NCR. This was a mistake. Let's see. Economic advisors. We'll do the technocrat. The Attorney General would be nice. There's barrage balloons. Alright, dealing with the bishops. The bishops may have been the most powerful family in New Reno. Mr. Bishop himself is a dangerous man for many reasons, one of which are his numerous political connections in the NCR. The crime lord's gangsters were loyal enough to face down the other families, but the sight of the X-01 power armor sent them scattering. He has retreated to his mansion, accompanied by only his closest and most loyal, surrounded by our forces and trapped. Focus on capturing their assets, gain 3 civilian workshops, gain 2,000 bottle caps, focus on apprehending him, plus 75 political power, New Reno's resistance target negative 10%, and why does he look like Granite? Gets event their brothers. Ooh. Oh. I like that one, but let's look at this one. Their brothers. On order from the president, a DNA test on Granite, along with a sample we collected from one of the bars Mr. Bishop frequented. To our surprise, they're half brothers. This seems an impossibility since Granite was the son of an Enclave soldier, and Mr. Bishop was born from one of the Bishop family matriarchs. The official story is Granite Sr. visit New Reno. Unofficially, Granite's darkest secret is his mother was the chosen one, which he told a few only in his inner circle, but that leads to more questions. The only person, however, to settle this conundrum is Mr. Bishop, the soldier that he is. Granite has expressed willingness to give himself as a hostage with the information to present to his apparent half-brother. Granite walked into Mr. Bishop's mansion, a heart rate monitor on him. On the first signs of something wrong, Enclave soldiers are ready to storm the mansion. Gets event, who needs crime when you have family? I hope he knows what he's doing. We'll do the new capital. We gain cores on all of the territories of New Reno. We get stability, and we get removed, protected by the Army, Sierra Armored Depot, and unlocks decisions that helps rebuild the waste. So, 15 days on that. See what Mr. Bishop says about being half brothers. So that's crazy. So the chosen one is the father of Mr. Granite. If you, I guess you played as a female character. Who needs crime when you have family? For 2 days, everything remained silent from Granite. Through his heart rate monitor indicated he was alive and even slept through the night. Much to our relief, he walked out smiling and laughing with Mr. Bishop. Apparently, the two had become best friends. Mr. Bishop healthily agreed to not only turn his assets over to assist the Enclave, but also even going to use his contacts in the NCR to reduce some suspicion. When questioned, Granite said Bishop ran his own test, and yes, they were brothers. The standoff had finished without bloodshed, and Granite has returned to his post on the condition that Bishop be granted full rights afforded to the member of the Enclave. While a few protested, Granite was quick to silence them, either by words or the fact that Granite can be a ruthless son of a gun, just like his half-brother, Mr. Bishop. Meanwhile, Mr. Bishop has even agreed to help disguise their operations as New Reno, further avoiding confrontation with the NCR, but even his reach is not infinite. Of note, Granite's father is not Bishop's father, therefore their common parent is the chosen one who gave birth to Granite and impregnated the Bishop matriarch. The statistics that chosen is a hermaphrodite are slim, but not impossible. Okay, there you go. Disguising as New Reno. How interesting, or we'll take most of his help. So we can switch over to be New Reno. That makes NCR suspicion go down. We get the same amount of civilian factories and bottle caps. The only difference is we'll change our names. I'm not really tired. Yeah, we'll take most of his help. And make a deal with the Van Graffs. or get a bunch of laser rifles. Ooh, you lose legitimacy if you do it that way. Let's see. We can begin a scavenging operation, which we will do. And probably make a deal with them. Let's get the new capital. By the way, I didn't make this clear earlier in the first episode. When we talk about mutants or when the Enclave elites were talking about mutants, they weren't talking about like super mutants and ghouls and stuff. They were talking about just normal wastelanders. They view them as mutants. They're not pure of Enclave blood. So if you were a little bit confused, you're like, why are they making such a big deal just about like super mutants and stuff? No, they're talking about everybody. I thought about that later after I recorded the video, and I was like, I didn't make it clear that they were talking about all the wastelanders. So the new capital's done. The wastelanders, with the city of New Reno now fully under our control, we are now governing over a significant amount of wastelanders. Since we cannot install Enclave members to every single position of influence in the city, some wastelanders have begun exerting an amount of power within our borders. I suppose this was an inevitable. Game base war support -3%. The People's Party will be known or be called the Wastelanders. Not on my watch. Lose 3% legitimacy. The People's Party will still be called Wastelanders. Change in popularity to 5%. Or gain more legitimacy. Lose -5% war support, and they gain 15% popularity. I think I'll just lose that, not gain any legitimacy. I think it's better than this losing the legitimacy, so I suppose this was inevitable. Then the New Reno slaves. During the liberation of New Reno, we have come across a large population of slaves, triggering off a debate as to whether we should allow the practice of slavery in the United States. Although there are those who say slavery is un-American, others points out that a captive workforce would be a boon to our economy, and as historical precedents. As a compromise, we could adopt a vault city servitude system, providing food, protection, and medical care in exchange for involuntary servitude. Whether say that seems like slavery with extra steps. We can add slave labor. We can have indentured servitude, which sounds horrible. And if they wanted slavery, they could have elected Anderson. Yeah, 5% legitimacy. Yeah, we're not having slaves. Let's do... well, we can do the mutant question. I kind of want to get done with these, so we'll do the Enclave. Well, no. Let's do prepared expansion. Expand, and let's make a deal with the Van Graphs. Lose some stability. There's a concentration of force. Let's do rapid deployment. Makes our we got the Van Graphs taken care of. We can bribe some NCR officials. Alright, complaints about rations. The abundance of non-spoilable military rations scattered across what remains of the U.S. has always been of vital importance to the Enclave. The hydroponic facilities at our bases are not always able to keep up to the demands, and we hardly have the manpower to send out to tilt the fields. This leaves us at the mercy of a logistics officer of 200 years ago. However, and it appears some form of mislabeling has resulted in the Sierra Army Depot being stocked with a century supply of hard Russian cheeses. A recent power surge has damaged one of the hydroponic harvests, and since then the hard Russian cheese has been served with breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. This has caused some disgruntled personnel, chief among them lead scientist Thomas Kesselhut, to accuse the cooks of a lack of skill and creativity and demand that we ban the Russian cheese. Ban the Russian cheese, get 5% war support, or he'll have to deal with it until the menu changes. Yeah, we need the war support, like a lot. There's a reason why we'll need war support. While I slowly build up my political power. Yeah, so for war support, if you want to like go and attack any other place, like the Den, the Yakuza, the tribes, all of that, you have to have war support. So I'm gonna do. Let me pause. Bribe Raiders, our new city. Let's see, the Den. Break the tribe. See the legacy of Vault 15. Vault 15 was one of the most successful failures of our Vault Text program. Vault 15 led to the creation of the NCR, the Cons, the Jackals, and the Vipers. However, the later, however, are starting to nip at our heels. So let's knock out the Vipers and the Jackals. Because I need computer chips, and they've got some. So do the Burrows. You don't. Vault City does, so I need to take Vault City, and so does the Den, so I need to take the Den too. Hand Dogs took Robot City. No. Not Robot City. Brain Drain. While losing our friends and family to the pre-Granite mindset, this is not the worst part. Many of them were our best and brightest in the science division. While a few still remain, they are left picking up the scraps that have been left to the Exodus. We, of course, can train a new generation of scientists, but that will take years. Surprisingly, those gang scientists we brought in are making this betrayal so much easier. Remembering the kindness we showed them when we took them out of the new Reno slums, they have been taking it upon themselves to pick up the slack. They've been working alongside our scientists and have managed to lessen the blow from the brain drain we are suffering. Guess bringing them in was good. Gains Enclave Brain Drain, which grants research speed negative 25% for 1,826 days. Ouch. We need caravans, please. Red Roach declared war. The Followers of the Apocalypse. Followers of the Apocalypse are a group of not scientists. They're a group of doctors that pretty much want peace and not war. I feel like Granite, even though he's an intellectual, like he's wanting to rebuild the United States and the mutant question, he's much more open to being nice to people and everything. I think that he would probably allow the followers to establish, just to help out the people. So if you guys would like to read that, I kind of summed it up. They're seditious anarchists in the ranks and stuff. They don't like war, and they will drag down your war support if you use them too much. But they do give you kind of a good boost. They can give you some good stuff. So even though the Enclave is trying to stay hidden, we can grant them bases, which we won't do. We can escort their caravans, which we will do. And that's it. Yeah, that's all we'll do. I would never understand why I would want to lose resources to give them bases. That doesn't make any sense to me. A music vault found during their efforts to clean up some of these smaller criminal organizations in New Reno. Enclave soldiers have stumbled on a treasure trove of pre-war audio tapes. The vast majority of the tapes have survived and hold long-lost tunes of the old world, collected by a wealthy crime lord over the course of decades. The propagandist value of such a collection should not be underestimated, as very little music is available to those within the Enclave. Promote patriotic songs, gain 10% war support, 5% stability. Promote old world nostalgia, gain 5% intellectual popularity and 5% stability. Or release the tapes freely, 100% or 100 political power and 5% stability. I like the 5. Everybody gets 5% stability. I like the political power, because when the NCR comes about and we've taken all these territories over here, they're going to be like, "Oh, I see." So, infantry equipment, no. Kind of, where is it? Power armor manufacturing, and the hardness is less. We'll hold off. We'll kind of wait for a second. Chief of the Navy, the Chief of the Air Force would be good. Eighth generation, bad weather penalty. Ground support. Ground support would be nice, since we do have bombers. Right, we got our annex goals. Let's see. We can do the mutant questions. we can... Can't do that. Alright, let's do the den. Or maybe let's do break the tribes. Alright. Go to war with the Vipers under High Priestess Faust, maybe? Dislikes Brotherhood of Steel, and she's a High Priestess. Yeah. Mrs. High Priestess, you're on American territory, and we don't appreciate that, so... Oh, our war support's too low. Okay. Let's do the Enclave Police. Adds new Reno Police, which grants recruitable population -10%, 5% stability, and resistance activity chance -5%. Start that up. I was wondering what that noise is. That is the sound of the bombard groups. Total accidents happening 9. Ooh. So how many do I have in storage right now? 100 cargo planes, 40 CAS. Okay. Not necessarily the greatest. Research, land doctrine, research speed. Let's do that. I know, I said I was going to hold my political power. I lied. I didn't realize we lost so many of these. 37 damage. Whoa. I wish we could build more, but you have to have the diagrams to do it, or the research to do it. We don't have it yet. Our cast here soon will be consisted of like pre-war biplanes and stuff. Plus, I never looked at my research tech levels. Infantry sophisticated, support sophisticated, power arm sophisticated. Where's it? Aircraft. Only intermediate. Which you would think would be different. I'm about to take the Serpent's Cradle. Now we need to go to the Viper's Nest. Should have put my power armor up here.
Enclave here.
Some more military factories. Let's see. More power armor, more ATGMs. I want more everything. We can redirect the Crimson Caravans by stealing and replacing documents to the nearby Crimson Caravan outpost. We can prevent the caravans from running into any of our patrols. Let's do that.
Enclave here. Enclave here.
Most of their army is in the south trying to fight my power armor, so this would be the time to start really pushing them back.
Enclave here.
Politics 101. No, no, no. Politics do not work that way. You cannot just punch a politician who disagrees with you, Bishop yells. I like Granite, man. Granite lets that aside. The reformist purist power struggle showed just how inexperienced Granite was with politics. Anderson could practically dance circles around Granite. Granite was barely able to win with the help of his allies. Obviously, a president requires a different skill set than a mercenary commander. Therefore, Granite asked Mr. Bishop to teach him how to be a proper politician. After all, the notorious Machiavellian Mr. Bishop had a wealth of experience running New Reno, plus his personal relationship with Granite means that he is willing to help. However, Granite proved even more politically inept than expected, much to Mr. Bishop's frustration. Bishop opened his desk and took out a few books. Line, congressional style, was written on the cover. I suggest you read up on this book first. Once you understand the basics, come back and see me. A sign of intelligence is an awareness of one's own ignorance, plus 50 political power. I love that. Line, congressional style. So even in the Fallout universe, Congress still lied.
You can say that again.
Which no one should be shocked. Like, nobody. We've lost 17. The Vipers lost 837. attacking the Viper's Nest finally. All their whole army is sitting down here. Stonks. We are quite sure what an index fund is, or if they even exist. Against advice from our esteemed advisor Germany, the investment has done great in growing the wealth of the nation. Bull or maybe bear. 6,000 bottle caps. There's the Viper's Nest. Now we need to knock out the Crimson Tongue Canyon. Should be pretty soon. Take all their territory.
This is Enclave main com.
Get up against the Jackals here. Demand tribute. It's from the Ripperalt territory? No. Where's that at? Right here? No. Right here? No. Oh, right there. I was like, I don't even see him. The Face Smasher. I'll just bust his face up. Alright. There's Protectrons. This game mode is so fun. The Enclave Police. New Reno is safer than you'd expect for a city with no police force, but that's because order is mandated by a gentleman agreement between the families. We can incorporate many of their mobsters into our new police force, or we can start from scratch with police trained by Sergeant Dornan. Why don't we just use these guys? We get amnesty for service, we lose legitimacy, or we can complete out with the old. We lose 10% stability, we gain 5% legitimacy and 100 political power. We replace New Reno Police with the corrupt New Reno Police. No, I think we'll lose I think we'll take the stability hit. You have to be a moron to rely on New Reno's gangs. Yeah. There's no way to run a country if you're just gonna put a bunch of mobsters in it. I mean, it's not so much, but I'm not gonna. Let's do. We could drive out the Yakuza. The Den, I think, is the more important one. The Mordock allows us to get some tributaries and civilizations now cores. The Den would be good. Let's do the Den. Oh wait, I'm gonna go to war anyway, so let's do the first break. Alright. Let everybody get in position over here.
Enclave here.
Under Major General Grimm.
Enclave here. Enclave here.
Enclave. The Cypher Warband with the Lost Lodge. And Annex.
This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com.
Yeah, the Jackals had no chance. We can restore naval base. Where's that at? Maybe it's up towards the top. We can restore naval air station at Fallen, which gives us a level 2 air base and air technology. Where's that at? Must be right here. Nah. Yeah, we'll do that. The Reclamation Authority. Grant has decided to construct a Reclamation Authority devoted to promoting scavenging in the wasteland. This will give our nation expertise in scouring the waste. We can scavenge with vehicles. Losing a lot of energy cells every time we go to war, which is to be expected, but we're losing a lot. Vault City.
This is Enclave main com.
Let's see. Officers training. Let's do can't do any of the... ooh, respected sergeant. I kind of want him. That's 200 political power, so... we could, of course, go down... oh, scavengers. Jackpot. Scavenger has returned to New Reno with reports of an intact military base we thought lost with an energy weapons stockpile. Traditionally, scavengers have the right to the property they find, but we could use our new police force to seize his finds. On the other hand, if we respect his claim, it will cement our claim to stand for order and the rule of law. We can tax that, right? 200 units of laser rifles, or laws apply to the people and the government alike. We gain 3 legitimacy plus 50 political power. The AER 9. Do we have any of those in stock? Oh, I think that's what we're building. So, we'll just gain legitimacy and political power. Laws apply to the people and to the government alike, which Doran, or Granite would most definitely probably agree with that. Dr. Henry returns. Dr. Henry is an ex-Enclave medical scientist. He used to work with the Enclave cybergenetic research program at the Poseidon Oil Ring and at various other Enclave installations. Later, he deserted the Enclave due to a conflict with another scientist. When he received word of the revival of the Enclave, he was skeptical at first, but once news spread of our efforts to become a worthy American government, he has left his clinic in order to rejoin the Enclave and get one more grand accomplishment done. Welcome back, Doc. Come down here. 6 more days, then we'll see how much this is going to cost over here with the New California Republic. I would say it's going to be very expensive. The Mojave chapter has been defeated. Yeah. 1 more day. Should be 120, I think is what it's saying right there. 130. Whew. Let's see. Might as well do it. And let's see. Where's Doc at? Down here, probably. Compassionate Doctor. A lot less war support. The followers have been established. Our fellowship with the followers will be mutually beneficial. We lose 5% political power gain. We get 15% monthly stability, 5% stability, or I'm sorry, monthly population plus 15%, and war support negative 5%. All right, we'll keep going. The first brick to be laid down. It'll be a long road to restore America, and chief among it is getting America's industry back online. Much of it lays in ruin, but we're the Enclave, and if anyone can get it back online, we can. Many members of the military are adamant of getting our old military industrial complex back online, producing weapons of war needed to reconquer the continent. Civilian members, however, are pointing out to win over the population, we are going to need to produce goods and products to remind them of what we are rebuilding, or at least distract them from the realities of post-war America. Nuka-Cola bottles won't win wars. We get the military-industrial complex or focus on civilian infrastructure. Let's see. Come up here. Military-industrial gives us 3 arms workshops, and civilian infrastructure gives us 2 civilian workshops. Well, we'll just get the 3 military workshops. The 3 arms workshops there. Alright, now we need to do the mutant question. That's a 10-day focus. We'll get that done real quick. Let's do them. Maybe some Protectrons. More ATGMs. More of that. More power armor. Some convoys. Moreno returns. Orion Moreno is a soldier that used to serve in the Enclave until the destruction of Navarro. Like many others, he fled south into the NCR. A loyal soldier, he's never given up on the Enclave's dream of a restored America. When rumors of the Enclave return reached him, Orion packed his bags to rejoin his lost comrades in arms. We gain him as a high command. Division recovery plate plus 10%, stability plus 5%. Welcome home, soldier. Unfortunate news. Unfortunately, it appears some of our soldiers have taken up the practice of blasting a pre-war song on or pre-war song on from their vertebrae during routine patrols. It does not need to be explained how this behavior is reckless and needlessly conspicuous. Nonetheless, our popularity must be considered in these uncertain times. Crack down on this behavior. Ask them to turn it down, or just ask them to turn it up, which we gain 100 political power, intellectual change plus 2%, and our suspicion goes up by 10. We'll do that. Yeah, 100 political power. That's fine. That means we can get Doran for the stability, war support, and training time. Because we got 138 days before we have to pay off the NCR again. It would be more expensive, though, because we will conquer a lot more. Let's see, the Troll Warren. The mutant question. Okay. The Enclave of old barely recognized the mutant denizens of the wasteland as human. Many among us still don't, desiring clear lines to be drawn between purebred humans and wastelander mutants. The official stance of our government towards our mutated subjects must be made clear to those with and within the Enclave. Well, since we're playing as the reformists, I believe it should be expand the definition of human beings. So mutants will have a place in America, but not on top. We form segregation that makes the elites happy, and we lose a bunch of legitimacy. Separate but peaceful. Yeah. We can do. We are free not to enslave, but to set a country. Or we fight not to enslave, but to set a country free. Change 5% popularity for people, 5% legitimacy, and we begin integration, which has political power gain negative 10%, non-core manpower plus 5%, division organization negative 10%. Recruitable population factor 5%, and division attack negative 10%. We're going to go with expand the definition. So I don't care if people don't like that. So that's them. And then we'll do the American Dream. We will finish up with the new Reno part right here. And then we'll just keep working our way down. So let's do the American Dream first. There's a lot. These all of these focus trees in Old World Blues are just super in depth and big, so which I enjoy. I mean, I hate having a short focus tree. Well, I said the Fusang looks like they were winning or were losing, but the Navarro territories look like they won't pull it out. You got Aaron Kimball. Resistance to occupation. Yeah. Let us build out the CIA. And we'll even use their there's the defense, right? What does it say? Yeah, Defense Intelligence Agencies, maybe. DIA. So CIA. Or maybe the FBI. It doesn't matter. We can do any of them. But we'll just do the CIA. Whenever we get this operative slot here, we'll build an operative to try to root out some of this resistance. Let's see. The Nevada Free States, huh? So I might be able to catch two birds with one stone right there.
Enclave here.
MacArthur went to war with Yellowstone. They're the only people in the entire map that actually like us. First ecologist Sebastian. Everybody hates me. Which, of course, we did start the Great War, and we viewed everybody as mutants. So I'd say quite a few people did hate us. There's Eureka. Deathclaws ate some of our team. Perfect, perfect. That's always exactly what we hope for. I'm being facetious at that point, but... Robotics. Yeah, we can research better robots.
Enclave here.
Try to knock out MODOK.
Enclave here.
Do we have enough vehicles? Yeah. No. Sky High Joyride. People fled in terror today when an erratic vertibird careened through airspace above New Reno. The aircraft flew low over buildings and was noted to be performing high-speed aerial maneuvers, the pilot ignoring calls to land by New Reno police. Military response was called in with a trooper firing a missile that struck the aircraft in the engine. The vertibird crashed on the town outskirts and was quickly surrounded by New Reno police and military personnel from the nearby Sierra Army base. Pilots, having survived, were found to be New Reno benefactor Mr. Bishop and the ranking Enclave official Douglas Granite. Both were found to be incredibly intoxicated, and the vertibird was apparently the private vertibird of Mr. Bishop. No one was hurt in the incident, and the two of them had been fined for disturbing the peace. Can Granite be arrested? I'm so glad I chose to do their brothers, because that is perfect. That is kind of exactly how I felt Granite would be. Just kind of this rough and tough ex-soldier who just doesn't care and hates politics. The American dream. Our flag is still here. The Enclave dream has always been to restore America to its rightful shores, from sea to shining sea. It is what drove the Enclave on through those dark early years after the Great War, what kept their drive going for over 100 years, and what was the spark that returned them to the shores of California when they began their return. That light was thought dead in these past 30 years since the destruction of the rig, with many proud Americans hunted down like rabid dogs, many times shot dead in the street, but no longer. President Granite today announced that the Enclave dream of returning the stars and stripes to the shores of America will begin in earnest. The steps would be taken to infiltrate the layers of groundworks for America's return. All he asked was for some time to ready, time to prepare. That soon, one day, this new world will see the return of the United States, and that nothing, not even a tribal, was going to stop them this time. May our banner forever wave, plus 15 war support, or over this land of the free. Ooh, I like the war support, but... oh, the stability. Let's do the stability. I'm a sucker for stability. Alright, come up here. Oh my goodness. This opened up all of this over here. That is huge. Our focus tree. Oh, what? Dude, the the focus tree got so big. I wasn't expecting that, so there y'all go. Our new focus tree is now giant. So if we get down here and we do integrate officers, politicians, and scientists, and then Americans one and all, it gets rid of it, and then our integration makes everything better. We can do that. Let's do not this yet. Let's do Reno Reborn. There's the CIA, which I'd say we now will have one. Oh, the She Victorious in Navarro. Defense. Do anti-partisan. Want that research as fast as we can. So the She now have all the territory here under low pain. Right on. Makes the not done yet. Halls. Let's see, Chief of the Navy, Chief of the Air, Compassionate Doctor. Political power gain would be nice. Pre-war designs. Energy weapon team, Uncle Phelan's firearm and laser emporium. Ballistic weapons designs. Atomic energy. I like this one. Power station, civilian power grid. That one's not bad. Enclave members only, outside volunteers. Americans one and all. Disorganized remnants. We could do that one or we could wait. The energy cell guy wouldn't probably be too bad. We're not really constructing anything anyway. We don't have 3. She looks pretty good for 500 years. America's 500th birthday is approaching, and some would say she's showing her age. The land is scoured by mutants and raiders, and the Enclave, America's last great hope, is a shadow of its former self. But to Granite, this is just a cause to redouble his efforts. American siege clearance on the radio has never borrowed to a despot and never, or bowed to a despot and never will. Things may look bleak now, but America will survive for the next 500 years and well beyond, because the Enclave will always fight for a better world, gain stability, or Americans will always fight for freedom. 5, legitimacy. Americans will always fight for freedom. A lot more than just steam trucks disturbing routes from Oregon. It seems that Trollworm managed to get their hands on some pre-war mining equipment and repurpose them for war. Caravan and refugees, speaking of a massive 200-foot tall metal monsters crawling with super mutants and armed to the teeth with guns, missiles, and lasers. Analysts are baffled just how the Trollworm was able to scrap so many of these together. Warren Line Breaker. What? That's crazy. Volatile shack market. A new profession that seems to have appeared recently in the wasteland. People who call themselves realtors keep trying to buy and sell shacks for no apparent reason. This has caused some slight instability in the region, but we think it's an easy way to part some peasants with their bottle caps. Cha-ching. Unregulated shack markets. 5,000 or 50,000 bottle caps, or regulated. We just gained some more. We're gaining 27,000. We'll just cha-ching. Be alright. Someone's selling, walking around, like smacks the side of the shack and it falls over, and they're like, "This is the best shack in the wasteland. Don't worry about it." The Reno initiative, due to a mix of strategic importance in the defense of Las Vegas and its shelter location within the well, we're going to do patrol the streets here next, gain 1 stability in the Enclave and U. Due to a mix of strategic unimportance, the defense of Las Vegas and its sheltered location within the Sierra Mountains, the city of New Reno survived the war mostly intact. However, that didn't mean it survived the intervening years unscathed. With the collapse of the government and authority, the city already prolific gang violence tore the city apart. It wasn't until the end of the 22nd century that the city stabilized behind several crime families. By the mid-23rd century, it had stabilized behind 4 families. Now, in the late 23rd century, the Enclave had arrived, and with it, Granite. While the Enclave soldiers had replaced gang enforcers, the city remained in a dilapidated state. Many are made worse by the recent fighting between the gang enforcers and the Enclave soldiers. In a radio address to the city, the president proposed the Reno Initiative, a grand project to turn the city from a rundown dive of vice and crime to a jewel of the wasteland, benefiting the capital of the Enclave in whatever form it would take. The NCR might boast of sandy shade, and the House brag about New Vegas, a bright light in the blighted landscape. But when the caravans or travelers visit Nevada, it would be New Reno that would be the greatest city in the waste. Build Reno back better, or make Reno great again. Let's do build Reno back better. We're doing patrol on the streets now. Scroll down here. We've hid. We can improve workers' conditions, which we won't do. can curtail wastelands. Well, let's see. We can get some more water, a civilian workshop. Let's do those two. That's all I'm gonna do with the people, the followers of the apocalypse. That's all I pretty much will do. We're gonna go up to lifetime pensions for our soldiers. Try to do early mobilization. Get away from that whatever we were at. E2 or Et Timur. Granted, it seems even more doubters and traitors fled to Arizona. We've been doing our best to keep an eye on them, and the latest batch to desert gave us a clue to where they are going. Using a loyal Sigma team, we tracked them as they made their way into Arizona, no doubt to join the Legion. We figured that they would be put to the cross like so many others until today. However, words reached us from a caravan of Chilean advancements in Flagstaff. Kaiser announced the creation of the Aquilan Palatine, the closest thing to a scientific body in the Legion, if there was ever was one. There's no doubt in our mind that this is the Enclave who defected to his cause. What's worse is a side paradoxically advancing the Legion. Kaiser claimed that they have cleared his mind of the woeful thoughts and distractions, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, which was rumored to be affecting the former followers of the apocalypse. Looks like Kaiser isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Really? I mean, really? Kaiser will no longer suffer from a brain tumor. It won't matter. We'll kill him regardless. Tumor or not, we'll get him. Yeah. So, if you guys did not know, Kaiser, Caesar, over here, he had a brain tumor. You find that out in Fallout New Vegas. I think if you go and talk to him, like he has a brain tumor, he's about to die. And so when we overthrew the, when we overthrew Anderson and his troop of purity officers, they fled to Kaiser, and it looks like they have cured him of his brain tumor. So if he dies of his brain tumor, which normally is what happens, Kaiser's Legion splits into like 3 different factions, and they all fight each other for command. It's all of his old subordinates. So do patrol the streets, and then I'm going to jump down real quick and do break the tribes. Then I'll come back up, finish this. Hand dogs knocked out the Maxon expeditions. And the Rogue Rangers were knocked out. Infiltration range. We'll take you. Get you to root out resistance. Right there. There's patrol the streets. So the Enclave and you. Hello, citizens of New Reno. This is Granite. By now you've seen the New Reno police patrolling your city streets, courtesy of the Enclave. However, it seems that the denizens that prowl your streets and wish to see a return to the crime and destruction of old think they can gain an advantage over law and order. Well, to that, I say bring it on. Starting today, members of our brave military will be assisting the New Reno police in patrolling the streets. Now, don't worry, I know what you're thinking. I won't be declaring martial law. We created the New Reno police to remove that. Instead, the Army will augment the police by protecting high-value areas, allowing police to put greater manpower on the streets to keep you safe at night. When you see our brave men and women in power armor, be sure to thank them, salute them. Maybe they, like all of us, are trying to make the wasteland a better place to live and remember. The Enclave wants you to rebuild New Reno, gain 5% stability, and 3% change in popularity for intellectuals. Let's do... let's do the Yakuza, actually. It puts us right on the border with these guys, which they are raiders.
Enclave here.
So it puts us on the border with good old NCR.
Enclave main com.
More than we already are. Then we'll go back up there and fight Mordock. Makeshift cover. Getting a navy set up of some sort. So Chor Warren went to war with the Morrow Drinkers under Mesmerelda. cannibals. I'd say the Troll Warren will be quite strong. Let's drive out the Yakuzas. It's really easy to get lost in this focus tree. So let's do Reform the Secret Service. Unlocks Dana McCoy, head of the Reform Secret Service. Gain 200 manpower and change popularity of leads -1%. Perfect. And she is right down here. Right there. Dana, Secret Service Police. Or Secret Service Chief. Now, to the Yakuza. I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm really not. Because you are slavers. So. Goodbye. Their army must have been on the border with the NCR or something, because, well, must have used to have been.
This is Enclave main com. That's a no one.
The return of Arcade Gannon. Since the Enclave's reform and integration of American citizens, some of those who fled after the fall of Navarro have returned to us. Among those is the scientist Arcade Gannon, the son of an Enclave officer who was later joined the followers of the Apocalypse. Inspired by our promises of a better life for the people of the Waste, he's willing to return to the Enclave's ranks. I love a man in uniform. Request increased production capacity, so they want us to build more military factories, which is fine because we actually won't be building them. All we'll be doing is taking them. So it's about the same. Build, take.
This is Enclave main com.
Yeah, so there's the rest of their army. They must have been right here and down here next to Yozmite.
This is Enclave main com. Yeah.
Just knock out them. And pop. They do have anti-tank. Not great, but it's also not nearly as worrying as it could be.
Enclave here. Enclave here. Outstanding. This is Enclave main com.
There goes the take all. Thank you.
This is Enclave main com.
Officers training will wait. Genius idealist plus 20 political power gained. Consumer factory good 5%. Yeah, that's awesome. We don't have a lot of civilian factories anyway. We'll do the Servo Mock iBots. Do a White House Reborn. Let's see. What else do we got? Build more military factories. We got 18. Construction-wise. Yeah, we don't have any civilian factories. So we might fail it, but meh. I think all I really need to do... Cold winds from the north. So they got airships. I have an air force. You guys want to read that? Talking about there's a group, I can't remember what faction it is. They have airships that they travel around the entirety of old America, or the entire map, and they trade. The Morrow Drinkers are being pushed back pretty heavily, which I would say if I was up against a bunch of super mutants with a giant tank, I'd probably be being pushed back quite heavily as well. Let's see, what else is going on? About done with the restoring the Naval Air Station. I'm going to go to the gun runners and sell off some of that pipe weaponry I've been getting. We've got plenty of rifles right now. I don't think any of our troops are using, yeah, we're all using laser rifles. Granite and Bishop have a lunch. Granite had gone over to Bishop's residence for lunch. These events often ended up with Bishop delivering a lecture, and today was no different. Even something as simple as a meal can be used to your advantage. In fact, a good dinner is one of the simplest way to build goodwill and alliances, like what you did with those purist officers. Oh, and be sure to bring along some strong liquor. Drunk people often say things that you can use against them in the future. Mr. Bishop chuckled. Bishop's lectures reminded Granite of the legend of the White House galas. According to the legend, the White House Gala was a grand event where the elite of the old world gathered, even those from across the oceans. Legend that spoke of an endless tables filled with every delicacy known to man. Perhaps one day Granite will revive the galas. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed. 100 political power. Now let's see. Scroll down here. Scavengers found something. We get ArcJet system schematics, which is awesome. Bribe 5 more days to bribe the officials, so I know it's going to cost a lot. There's rapid deployment. Let's do. Let me pause. Let's do flexibility of command. That makes them a lot faster. Yeah, let's do you. The Western White House, at least that's what the press dubbed it, with the security of the depot provided the president with the best protection in the wasteland. The detachment from the people who the Enclave claimed to represent soon took its toll. Even if nothing more than the show from the beginning of the Reno initiative, everything was aimed to create a house fit for the leader of the Enclave. With the old Salvatore mansion, it was renovated, remodeled, and recreated in the image of the White House in Washington, D.C. Of course, befitting the president of the United States, the Western White House was adorned soon became a new landmark within the city. With the Secret Service on routine patrols aside the Army, the area around it became some of the safest in the city, causing a small economic boon for the city. It was there that Granite gave the first true public address in over 200 years, and was and not recorded over radio. Long was it spoken about how America was coming back, how the eagle would soar over this great nation once again. Despite not being a part of the nation for most of their lives, the citizens of New Reno who heard the president speak felt a deep sense of patriotism and not felt in years as the spirit of the old world took rest inside them. Granite assured them that they would see America through and from his home. From here, I will be but a servant of the people, gain 1,000 manpower and 50 political power, and America will be restored, and from here, I will see it through. 50 more command power. Let's do that, the manpower and political power. I like that. We'll do these 3. But we're gonna start inaugurate Congress, the voice and representative body of the people. While the president is at the helm, the body of Congress shall squabble and argue amongst themselves in a brilliant display of democracy. And there's a fancy casino we can renovate to do just that. Ain't much different, but I'm gonna end the episode here. So this was episode 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.